She's alive. Alive!
Do you know, there was a while there, especially in my like late 20s, where I thought that I just kind of grown out of new music.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was like, do you know that episode of South Park where Stan just sees all new things as shit?
Yeah.
He just turns 12 and like everything is shit. And I understood that for a while. And I was like, all I could listen to, I was like, I resigned myself to I was never going to listen to new music again.
Yeah, I felt like that for a while, being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't like constantly bringing up other podcasts here because I feel like, you know, I'm just name dropping to get people's attention. But No Dogs in Space, that's a good music podcast,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that brought me, because I should have been listening to these groups already because they were always around, like the Ramones and the Misfits and stuff like that. And and Dead Kennedys, and they're like 3 of my favorite bands, top 5 bands, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely love them. But it kind of drove me to start looking for more music. And like the last year, my top 3 bands that I would love to see in a concert, and one of them I only found yesterday.
Top 3 bands.
that I would like to see at a concert together. One gig that I was just saying to you, I was like, you wouldn't even have to drink at this gig. The adrenaline would take you through this one. This would just be fucking heart pounding, jumping the whole time, sweaty kind of music gig kind of thing. I would go with Kneecapped, Bob Vylan, and the new band we found, Amy L and the Sniffers.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know, is it Amy L or are you supposed to pronounce it all as one? I don't know how to say Amy and L in it. I don't know how to
Is the L capitalized?
No, it's all one word. I don't know how to say it.
Emil?
I don't know. Because Amy is actually her real name.
Oh, maybe it is Amy L.
Anyway, they're fucking awesome. They're like an Australian punk band.
Yeah. I like 'em.
I don't. It just feels like the adrenaline at their gig would just be fucking something else. 3 young bands, 3 hungry bands who are just, you know, still fucking into it. Like, you know, it's. But yeah, we've fallen in love with all 3 of those bands.
Absolutely.
Constantly. But I love that we're fine. Punk has just opened a whole new fucking side of things for me.
You're well happy with yourself.
But it's because punk hasn't done what all the other genres have done. Other genres try to grow and become cool and more PC as well. Punk just stays punk.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can listen to punk from the 70s and listen to punk from last week and it's the same.
Yeah.
Not the same, but it's still the same kind of feeling, the same kind of...
Same emotion behind the same...
It's timeless.
Yeah.
That's it. It's timeless.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's because you always have something to rebel against, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Every generation will have something.
But I think... Not to be like ragging on people who are... I don't like the whole snowflake thing. I don't like people being called snowflakes.
No,
I
think it sounds ridiculous.
And it makes you sound like you're like the complete anti-snowflake is really usually a shithead as well. Like, you know? But I felt like music had become too safe. I didn't think there were bands like Bob Vylan out there anymore that would just fucking say shit. I didn't think there was groups like Kneecap out there that would just fucking say shit anymore. Like, I thought it was, you have to behave
Everything
yourself
was filtered. Yeah.
But so I think that's what, because you know me, I've always said my taste in music, it isn't a genre, it's an attitude. Yeah. And we said
in your face.
Wu-Tang put it best. They're like, we're punch you in the face music, and that's what I like. Yeah. Punch you in the face music that's just fucking gets the blood going, like, you know.
Exactly.
And that doesn't need to be heavy. It doesn't need to be fast. You can do that with a soft song, but you just need to get the
right thing behind it.
We're getting some movie news.
Yes.
Sad movie news to start with.
Very sad movie news.
Poor David Lynch, he died. No, I thought he was younger than he is. He's actually nearly 79. So he got to a good age.
He got to a good age, yeah. But
and considering the lifestyle choice.
Yeah, exactly.
For kids, smoking is bad. Don't listen to my name. It's not the same thing. It's not. Tobacco was bad. And he was smoking since he was 8 years old.
That's a long time.
Emphysema is scaring the shit out of me, man. That's stopped me from smoking tobacco now.
That's mad when you think of it, when you put it into like proportion. There's only 8 years of that man's long life that he was clean air.
Oh, no. There was 2 as well.
Oh, he gave up for 2 years.
He was diagnosed with emphysema in 2020.
Yeah.
Quit fags in 2022. Dude, you should have done it in 2020. Well, damage is done, I suppose.
Damage is done.
And I would assume by 2022, if you're still smoking, you're on the oxygen tank, which means smoking a cigarette, even if you want it, probably
isn't safe.
Yeah. Oh, we better clarify because we're going to keep saying fags. Fags over here for Americans, you probably know already. With cigarettes, the fag is what you call a cigarette.
Do they have that word over there for cigarettes?
No.
Oh.
Not in America, no. It means something very, very different.
Oh, I know that.
Same way you can't really say fanny over here. They
Because
didn't
it means
understand the
something
fanny's a
different.
bad
I
word
used to
over
go
here,
around
you know?
singing that. You know that song from Sabrina the Teenage Witch? It was like, shake your fanny. I used to go around singing that at home and be like,
Duh.
will you stop?
Shock when I would hear American kids shows say the word fanny.
Fanny.
And I was
Like,
just chilling there
what?
again like, what did they just say? But yeah, unfortunately, I mean, like we were talking about, there's a bunch of people in our life we know that have died from emphysema, emphysema related kind of things, and it is down to smoking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I know a lot of countries now are starting to bring in the whole
New
idea
Zealand
of
again, like we were
aging
saying.
out tobacco. England are bringing it in, aren't they?
There, as far as I know.
I think there's talk about it here. Is it Milan that I said that straight up said you can't smoke outside anymore?
You can't smoke within it. Like it pretty much guarantees you can't smoke anywhere unless you're in like a public park with a lot of space.
From what I can see, it's kind of if you're going to do it inside your own house.
I thought the restriction was like 20 feet or something like that. So like technically, like say you couldn't walk down the street and smoke, but you could go into Clarny National Park and have a smoke, like, you know, that kind of way, if you went in deep enough, like.
But you have to be far enough away from someone.
You have to be away from people, yeah.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about it. And I know I've kept saying it before, but you look at this whole, obviously it's widely accepted now that cannabis is pretty much good for you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously too much of anything is bad for you, but it has positive sides to it. It could help people. It could do good things.
Yeah.
Name one good thing tobacco could do for you.
Helps
Anything.
you relax, apparently.
Anything
I
at
don't
all.
feel like it helps me relax.
I mean, health-wise.
Oh, it doesn't.
Is there any good? So why is that one legal, but the other one isn't?
Because people used to think it had medicinal purposes. I mean, when the Queen's father, like his stutter, like his doctors were telling him, like, you need to go and smoke some tobacco and it'll help your stutter.
Go have a fag.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
basically. And he fucking died of, was it lung cancer or emphysema from the smoking, because the doctors were pushing the tobacco on him before he actually met the doctor. That was like, this is how you get rid of, he was basically like a speech doctor, like.
But yeah,
like, yeah,
if you smoke weed, which is, again, will even if it's CBD or whatever,
yeah,
is helping people physically, helping people mentally, helping people, you know, across the board with stuff. And I mean, if you look at it in terms of material as well, hemp is far more affordable and easier to access and easier to grow and easier to
also
manufacture.
global warming, like, you know, as in like there's a lot you can do with hemp that's extremely eco-friendly.
Yeah, so as meant, and I think, look, like I have always said, I think at this point it's just a case of the older generation moving on and the newer generation taking over power, because you can already see it here in this country. I mean, like one of the
no government properly yet,
and
because of it.
no, it's settled now. They're
is it?
going to go into government, but I don't know if they've settled on that fact. But the reports I was seeing was Fianna Fáil wanted to make it more widely available medicinally, and Fine Gael was like, no, we don't want it to be something that's normal here.
Absolutely ridiculous. There is a girl.
Well, keep on smoking, kids.
No, but remember down the road from us here, there was a girl that she had epilepsy, and it was approved from her. But every time
they had to go to Amsterdam.
and they would get stopped, and sometimes they wouldn't
Taken
even be
off
allowed.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
fucking ridiculous.
And I mean, like, that helped
Sick.
her so much. And in the end, that girl died. And if she had proper access to it, I mean, like, have you ever seen videos of it? You put it under your tongue and like it's like seconds and that seizure has stopped.
What is the rationale behind
I have
this?
no fucking idea. No idea.
They play up this gateway thing, but I mean, I think we're living proof that that's not true.
It's... yeah, you see,
It's
whenever
only a
we
gateway for people who already plan to take harder drugs. It's not like somebody goes out, smokes weed, and then goes, I'm going to go fucking... I want to take cocaine. No, I want to take ecstasy. These people already are going that direction. This is just a stepping stone from like, but it's the same way of if they never smoked weed. These are the same people who are again smoking cigarettes from like 10 years old, and people who have this around them constantly anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I would argue that tobacco, being the addictive substance, is actually more of a gateway substance than weed.
Probably, and you're watching people do that. Like, it is becoming more taboo. I feel it felt
It is. I don't
as
like
we were
smoking in front
getting,
of people.
as we were getting near the end there before myself, and you were like, we need to stop this. It did.
I hate
Which is ridiculous because those same people are kind of throwing you fucking side eye while they smoke their vape. And I've been told that people
vape
go
is
through
10
them.
times worse for you. It really fucking
It depends. I feel like the way I use it is
the way you the way
I think
it
the
was,
way other people use it, where it's just a replacement. Because I looked it up, and these 600 puff ones are the equivalent of 20 cigarettes.
Yeah.
And my own brother was like, he goes through one of these a day, he said. I was like, holy shit, man. He's like, he knows people who go through 2 or 3 of them a day. And I'm like, I go through one every 2 weeks.
I feel like you use it for the way that they were first intended to be used. Do you know?
To wean myself out.
Exactly.
When I'm out of the house and I'm going somewhere, it's handy to have with me where I'd be standing around waiting for someone and I'd take out a cigarette. I take this out and it helps that it tastes good.
And you're not conscious then when people are passing that you're blowing like cigarette smoke into your face. Like you just smell like strawberries the whole time.
But look, it's sad. But apparently the wildfires were the final thing to take him out because his health had deteriorated from 2022.
So was it the smoke from the wildfires?
And 2024, I think they were saying he was completely dependent on oxygen. Like he himself was saying, like he couldn't walk across a room without oxygen, without an oxygen tank. But from what I can tell, I can't confirm this, but from what I can tell, they were saying like he was moved during the wildfires to his daughter's house and he died there. But that was kind of maybe the last straw.
Yeah.
With his health being the way it was, that it was just. You're a bigger fan than him and I am movie wise. You've seen more of his movies, is what I mean.
I have. I just keep. I know he's been in a few things, but I've never kind of like really taken notice of him as an actor. I mean, like he's voiced
the bartender in Cleveland show, my favorite character. Didn't know until like the end. Cleveland show was over, and I kind of I was looking up some other character to find out who voice acted, and I saw he was voice acting Gus. I was like, no fucking way, man.
But no, I mean, he's been nominated for Best Director at the Oscars 3 times. He was nominated for The Elephant Man, he was nominated for Blue Velvet, and he was nominated for Mulholland Drive. And he never won any of them. And for the same man, he did Eraserhead, he did Twin Peaks. I mean, when you look at his whole catalogue, how the fuck did he not get an Oscar? He should have been, for The Elephant Man alone, aside from like aside from Twin Peaks, like The Elephant Man is just, for me, it's one of the best movies, one of my favorite movies. I keep saying it to you that you have to watch it. I think John Hurt's performance is phenomenal. The way it's shot, the whole thing is black and white.
Is it a musical?
No, it is.
Why did he get? No, it's also musical. Oh, he was also the musical director.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the fact that he didn't win an Oscar the first time that he was nominated for that, he only got an honorary one in 2020, 2022, maybe 2020, I think. But the fact that he only got an honorary Oscar after being nominated 3 times for Best Director for 3 of the best films.
Is he able to collect that?
I don't know how they did the Oscars in 2020.
Because I would assume if he got his emphysema diagnosis in 2020, last thing they'd want would for him to get COVID.
I would agree, but
any complication there when you already have that on top of it?
Our lockdown started in March. Oscars are kind of end of February, start of March.
They probably, They
so it was probably like by the skin of their teeth, that
would have been done. Do you know the 2 I have to watch that I have avoided, and not because I've never seen Twin Peaks, the TV show. I've never seen it, and that's basically because it sounds so bizarre that I think I have to be in a certain frame of mind to watch it, so I keep putting it off.
Have you ever seen scenes from it? Like there's scenes that are shot backwards, or scenes it's very.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I've seen when he was on not David Lynch, but the actor, Kyle MacLachlan. When he was on SNL years and years ago, when this was popular, when it was first out, they were doing scenes like skits from it, and I was like, if this is anything what the show might be like, I need to be baked.
I get you.
The other one, and this is stupid, right? Because this is just kind of like a mental block, and that is Eraserhead. And the reason for it is, when I went to college, when I was 19, I went to college to do, it was called interactive multimedia. So we do sound engineering, we do movie stuff, we do advertising, we do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And obviously the people I'd be in school with then were very, film centric and know all of this. I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just know I knew I liked movies. I've never been like that. You see, And they're the successful people, to be true and truthful. But the people who are obsessed with like, you know, all the little details, and you can even tell it by the way I talk about movies. I don't look at them that deep. I just enjoy. I watch it from. I don't watch it from a critical mind. I watch it from a consume me kind of mind. Take me out of this world. What they're made for.
I know what you're saying, but I think the two of us have pointed out though the last while that we have been like, especially when we did our 30 Halloween movies and did more, or horror movies and did more than we actually. What you did anyway. But that there were certain things about certain directors that like we were talking about, like as in I think now from watching them, like we're able to kind of like have an opinion on like how things are shot now, like and
no, like Costanza, fucking quirks and stuff, like his scripts not having any curse. I love that. But yeah, I do that. Yeah, but what I mean is. I like, and I don't want to lose it either. I don't want that critical mind. I like the fact that movies are what they're supposed to be for me.
You like to take them at face value.
No, but I leave it consume me. I let that world take over my brain.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. So I'm not sitting there thinking for an hour and a half. I am in that universe. Yeah. Do you know? And I'm living through their eyes and I'm watching it play out. I'm flying the wall of this thing, and that's all I want to be. I don't want to be worried about what camera angles or what motivation they had or whatever it is. And we work on that now as well. And I do have to look at that now because when we're writing fucking scripts, you kind of have to worry about what the killer's motivation was.
You know, it might be worth like, you know, like when you watch a movie and you really like the movie, like, or like you said, it consumes you, to go back over the second time and pick it apart and say, oh, that was one of the things that drew me. Do you know, like it is the way they did the scene. I think it might, I need to do it as well. I don't do it, but like it might be a good way of.
It is difficult time-wise.
Yeah.
When you're trying to fit
the second time.
Watch it a second time. Yeah. No, I do. I mean, a lot of the time, especially if I'm writing the scripts for the main show, I'll probably sit down and watch the thing with like hands-free, nothing there. Just sit down and watch a movie that'll consume me. And then I will probably, while I'm writing, start the movie again and literally like be pause, play to make sure, or fast forwarding or rewinding just to get all the little details and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, like this week I had to sit down and because nobody's edited it together yet, I had to go find all the individual flashbacks from the Chucky TV series to patch together the Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany story and put bits in and put bits out. Little details, just silly little things and quirky little things that you should be picking up on, like their love for Killing Pizza Delivery guys and why he liked deep dish pizza because it was messy and all this kind of stuff. And so I was like watching all that guy. So I do watch closely in that thing, but I think again, because of that, I wouldn't be great at dissecting a movie, but I'd be great at pop culture references.
Okay.
Because I'm listening to them so clearly.
Yeah.
So
nitty gritty.
Yeah. You're finding all these little things that are saying, well, even we're watching Pop Culture Jeopardy lately. And I'm surprising myself with the stuff I know.
Fly through it. What was the one? Soul Train was the one that surprised me. I'd never heard of it. No, but none of the white contestants got it in fucking on Pop Culture Jeopardy. But you got it, no problem. I was like, what is Soul Train?
Well, I knew the question was what was I can't remember the years, but it basically like we ran between this time it was like 80s till 2000 or 70s until 2006.
Yeah.
And it had an award show that still ran that was same name as it.
It's and just I knew mad, it was a Soul like Train you said award. Yourself, I knew though, Soul Train was around that period of time. And I only knew because I watched stuff like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air growing up. I loved all those. I watched Trouble a lot, so that was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, fucking In the House. There was a lot of African American centric comedies. But that's what I mean. So like you said, it was references. Just mad for you in Kerry, you know, in Ireland, and none of the rest of the Americans knew it. You know, like it's such like an African American thing, like that. You think that one of them would have known.
Pop culture references. I just watch a lot of fucking teenage sitcoms when I was younger. Like that's all I loved. Trouble. That's all I watched all day. I just sit there and watch all day, and it was usually a shitload of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know? Well,
you do like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, in fairness. I have seen that so many times through you.
It's difficult to watch him these days. I mean, I grew up, I was a mega Will Smith fan as a kid.
I wasn't a mega fan, but I liked him. If he was in a movie, I'd be like, cool. Yeah.
Well, see, I was such a fan. I was like, I watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air since I was like the lad's age. Like, I was like 7, 8 years old watching Fresh Prince. And it was just, it was always there, like. And it kind of aged with me. Like, even when I was a teenager, I still loved watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Only lately, I rewatched all of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and it was fucking hilarious.
So is the new one. No, not the new one isn't hilarious, but the new one's really good also.
Yeah, one more season of that and it's
I
done.
know. I'm disappointed about that. I'm enjoying it.
I'm happy it gets to end its story. I didn't think it was going to get... I thought it was going to get cancelled at some stage.
Oh.
I didn't know if it was going to have that kind of audience.
Oh, really? Well, maybe it didn't. Maybe they've just said you can only have one more season.
But, yeah. But I like that.
They get to tie it up.
Yeah, I prefer that. I think if a show's going to get cancelled, it's better than I understand it, that's not how it works. It's a business, and if a show is going to cost money for another fucking season and nobody's watching it, what the fuck's the point in putting it on? For one or two people?
We had watched something lately, and we're like, oh, that's where it finished. I can't remember what it was, but it was really, really lately, and it was only.
Do you know who I have been watching lately, and the fucker just won't go away? It's like I didn't know. I never saw him, but I never paid attention to him before in my life. But he's been like.
He's been a constant nearly. He's been there in bits and pieces.
And for me lately, I've watched 2 of his shows back to back, and then suddenly he shows up in one of my favorite fucking movie series, and that is Joel fucking McHale. Man, because we never watched Community. We watched Community lately. As soon as Community was over, we saw that Animal Control was there, and we started watching that. And then literally yesterday, I was like, shit. It's like Joel McHale is in Scream. It's like, what?
He's made a splash, but then you found out he was in what? Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, he's been in loads of stuff. X-Files.
What?
I cannot confirm. Oh, no. Reboot X-Files. You know, when it came back that time?
I was wondering. I was like,
I cannot confirm. It's just going off of pure memory. But remember in the last time, when it came back last time, it was almost like they were kind of replacing Mulder and Scully with another male-female team partnership, and they were kind of running alongside them and helping them out. I think Joel McHale might have been that guy. I cannot confirm that. I can't say that's big, going off of vague memory, because I can barely remember that season of X-Files. I just remember it ended in a very batshit crazy kind of way. I remember lots of lights coming from the sky, them looking shocked, looking up, and the next thing I was like, oh, it must be a cliffhanger.
And that was it.
But yes, Joel McHale is in Scream 7. Now, in any other circumstances, any other role, I would say, right, there's your killer right there. But they can't do that again, Amy. They just can't.
No. They can't. It doesn't make... Well, no, they can't.
No, for people who haven't found this out already, he is playing Sydney's husband, Mark, and it's not a recasting of the Mark Kincaid character. He's just what's his face? Patrick Dempsey. He is just not coming out. They must have just not been able to know it, because he was in negotiations for the part. He was
like you
coming
said, now
back.
he's got Dexter.
He's got Dexter, and he is also the bad guy in the Thanksgiving series.
And they can't make him a killer in another one.
I didn't think he was going to be killer. See, I'm really dead set in this, because I'm telling you, it'll piss off the fans. The fans are very much... You even saw in the last one, the attitude even was kind of built into the narrative of Sydney deserves to have a bit of peace, you know?
But she's had a bit of peace.
Her boyfriend was the killer. Then Richie was the killer, who was the boyfriend. You can't make her husband the killer. It is a complete fucking... It's...
There have been characters in horror that their thing is that their curse is that they can never be happy.
I don't think that's this with this movie series. She's always been... She's went strength to strength constantly. Like, Sydney only gets stronger, right? At this point, Sydney is the Ripley of our generation.
Oh, well. Yeah.
You know?
Ripley died.
What? What happened to Sigourney Weaver?
No, not Sigourney Weaver.
Holy
I'm
shit.
just saying, Ripley died in the...
she came back. And no one was happy about those movies. So, apparently, people don't like Alien 3.
Robot Sydney mightn't be bad.
Yes, the fucking would. But so Joel McHale is going to play Mark Evans. Funny little fucking jump back there, because Maureen Evans was Jada Pinkett Smith's character who was killed. No, I doubt it, because she's African and he's very, very white. I can't
Maybe
imagine
they're blended, like mixed family, like.
Maybe. He would have been a very young child though when she was killed, wouldn't he?
Backward. Oh.
Would he? No, he would have been the same age as Sydney. What am I saying? He would have been their age. He could have been in college with him. What am I fucking crazy? And I think great news as well is we have Mindy coming back with her brother.
Yeah.
So Jasmine Brown, isn't it? Jasmine Savoy Brown will be back as Mindy Meeks Martin.
Decent.
So we're getting half the core 4.
Hi.
Yeah. Well, look, I always,
still good,
like I
yeah,
said,
it's
it's Scream. It's a good thing. You can do this because it just means when we need to put Sydney aside for because Sydney and Gail are kind of getting to the point now where we're getting to the end of their story.
Yeah.
One way or the other. You're going to have to kind of push them to the side, whether it be that they become smaller roles in the corner. Like, you can't keep just revolving it around them. Well, that was why I liked the new 2 so much. You had these people here who are from the original series. They have big parts of the story, but we're trying to emphasize it on these 2 girls here so we can push the story along so the story can live on. And I think that this works in that sense of, yeah, great, we get this story, right? We also have a spin-off for Kirby coming.
Okay.
And you have Tara and Samantha out there in the fucking universe ready to come back again. So when we get sick of Sydney and Gail and that troop, you get the twins, you move them back over to their friends. There we go. We have them linked back up into the story again.
Yeah.
They're back in. It's not like they can't come back. It's not like they were killed off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
It's not like it were Dewey.
Maybe did we actually see Dewey die though?
Oh yes, Amy. We saw him get really fucking slashed the fucking shit with 2 big ass knives and then taken out in a body bag.
That's fine. We know it's for definite. Do we know who was in that body bag? Did we see the body bag? I'm joking up. I'm not that bad.
I thought, but like, I don't think they'll ever do that. I think Scream is very much.
They did do that though, Josh.
It's very different circumstances, and nobody likes that they did that either. Scream 3 sucks. I don't care what anyone says.
Did I not
It's a
fucking say
comedy
it though
movie.
during that fucking, not when she
Not
was
even a
getting
good
stabbed. It
comedy
was just
movie.
weird the way the father was coming out. Like, do you know that kind of way? Like when he was walking out of the, like after, when the cops went after she got stabbed, like the way he was walking
you're talking
out.
about that one. I thought you were
sorry.
talking about Roman faking his own death.
No, I'm on about she went into the body bag and she was not dead.
Yeah, but there was again. Look, we've discussed this last week. We discussed it the week before. If we're going to sit here and start pulling threads on Scream 6,
Everything
we're going to
falls to
shit all
pieces.
over that movie, right? And I like that movie, so I
like the movie
Let's
as
not look
well.
into the police procedure, because that is ridiculous when you think about it. So let's not think about it. Let's just
Who took her pulse?
again, Amy. Let's just okay. Don't ruin Scream.
I'm not going to. Love you. I'll wait till we're off.
I am sticking by one time. Looking at the Wikipedia, or not the IMDb page right now. Sam Reckner, I am telling you, I guarantee you, your surname will end up being Cotton. Weary, not Weary. Why did I think it was Cotton? 100% Cotton. That was what was in my head. Weary. He will be a Weary. He will be Cotton Weary's son. I guarantee fucking
What's
you.
his name?
Sam Reckner. Rechnner.
CHN. Maybe he's the killer because his name sounds like the Reckoner.
I will put money. If you're going off his IMDb picture, because I've never seen his face move, so it might change. But going off his IMDb picture solely, he is
Seen him in something.
100,000,000% going to be Cotton Weary's angry ass son. And I said it to you yesterday. I was like, it's the perfect storyline because you can play up the fact that this girl slept with celebrity Cotton Weary. She gets pregnant. Cotton is killed. And before the child is born, hang on. No, wait, that mightn't work. Scream 3 came out 25 years ago, which means Cotton died 25 years ago. So this kid has to be 25. And if he's supposed to be playing a teenager, then that's not going to work.
Guess who his mom's best friend is?
Who? Sam Reckner? Huh?
Nicole Kidman.
So who's his mom?
His mom is the sister of an Australian newsreader.
Okay.
I think they grew up near each other, but like apparently they're still like besties. I have a picture of him here on the red carpet from the last few weeks with Nicole Kidman. That's nice, isn't it?
Cool. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel it in my fucking bones. That's he's going to be. It's going to be.
It
him.
looks. You see, some pictures look very. I can see how there'd be a familial resemblance, but then the other pictures.
It can't be Joel McHale. I think McKenna Grace would be too much of a callback to Scream 4. I
How
think
old
it'd be
are
too
Sydney's
close
kids
to Scream
now?
4. And is McKenna Grace her kid? Oh, no. Isabella May is going to play Sydney's daughter.
How old are they now? Murdering age?
Well, they'd be 17, 18, I would say. I mean, McKenna Grace has to be about 17 at this stage, right? She's in Young Sheldon. Isabella May was in Young Sheldon as well, and she was Georgie's girlfriend, which would put her at least about 15, 16 at that stage. Yeah. So I would be guessing that they would have to be in and around 17, 18 in the storyline. When was Scream 4 was 2011. Do they make a reference to Mark and the kids in that one?
I think so.
So she has the children at that stage. I don't know. We can't be working out the maths. We'll find out when we watch the movie.
2004, they'd be at least 19.
2011.
Oh, 2011, they'd be at least 14.
Yeah. Oh, well, you'd have to be older than that. Yeah, well, obviously, they could have aged before because there's 11 years then between 3 and 4. So, yeah. I get you. Do you know what else they're talking about bringing back, Amy? And you're going to like this. This is going to make you happy. Gremlins is one of them.
Okay. Labyrinth.
The Goonies. I know there was rumour of that coming back, but this is official. This is 100% Gremlins and the Goonie films being developed by Warner Brothers and Chris Columbus. Oh, sorry, there's a question mark here.
Oh.
It's going around a lot this week that they are working on it, that they're in development. Now, I know that's not big news because Gremlins 3 has been in development since Gremlins 2 was fucking out, and that's 30 years nearly.
Yikes.
Because Gremlins was 30 years last year. So you got Gremlins 2 wasn't that far afterwards. It was about maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah.
The Goonies, what would you do with that? Would you go with a whole new... Well, you have to have a new batch of kids. So are they going to be the kids of the original kids?
That's
or the kids?
What I'm wondering, because I would assume Sean Astin and Josh Brolin are going to make an appearance.
It feels like with a movie, like, do you know those kind of coming of age kids movies?
Sure, the guy that won the Oscar 2 years ago, of course he's going to make an appearance.
But it just feels like with those kind of movies, sometimes it's the ultimate reboot of the ultimate, like, we're just going to remake the same fucking movie again.
I really hope not, because I don't think you should touch the Goonies to make a remake. I think you need a different part of the story, maybe.
And at the moment, is this the right time to do something like that? Are they trying to capitalize off the Stranger Things kind of mania, or is it kind of you do not want to be compared to Stranger Things right now because they're going to fucking dominate?
It's two different things. It really is. I don't think it'll capitalize that.
The Stranger Things is literally a fucking paying homage to all those movies, like, you know, all those movies that are like Stand By Me, like fucking It, like the Goonies.
No, I get you, but Stranger Things is scary. The Goonies is I don't find it scary. It's feel good.
Yeah, but obviously the adventure side of it and all that. I mean, I wouldn't say Stand By Me is scary.
They go treasure hunting for a pirate ship.
Stand By Me is a little uncomfortable.
The scary part is the mafia, Josh.
Huh?
The scary part is not mafia, but they're in like a little Italian that run by a kind of Italian-American family run by a little small woman. Like, that's the scary part of it.
But that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay.
That maybe you don't want to land in that area right now with... And you also have
maybe
coming again, Welcome to Derry.
Finishing, they're going to try people will be jonesing for more Stranger Things.
Got three seasons of Welcome to Derry coming from next year onwards.
Yeah.
Do you know? And they're going to be going backwards.
Okay.
So I think the first one is the 60s, and then it goes back the next season, then it'll be back another 40 years, and then the next one will be 40 more. It's 40 years, isn't it?
Think so. That
sounds
years.
about right by their age difference as well. Isn't it? 30 to 40 years probably?
No, 30 years. They're never in their 40s.
I'm dying to read that book. It is supposed to be disgusting. I mean, what the fuck is with the child? Where did he
I don't know.
I read another quote from it last week, right, on Reddit. I can't remember the quote, but the caption over the quote was, Stephen King was definitely high when he wrote this. And it was some kind of dirty sex thing again in it, but it was from it again, and it was like really weird. But I'm dying to read it just to see how fucking strange it actually is. Do you know?
Yeah.
Because it is another one about his addiction, isn't it? He was in the height. I think he was in the height of coke mania at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, and sure with that called Cujo. I don't remember writing that one.
That seems like it's a good story. It's a good. I like it, but it seems like one you could knock out pretty handy.
Oh, I'd say so. I think he said that it didn't take him that long.
There's not a lot of character development. It's a lot it's almost like a kind of situational study, isn't it? You know, this is the position I'm in.
Yeah. Well, there's no character development, really. Like, yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit. She's cheating on her husband. They're at that point. So I don't know that she learned some sort of lesson. Don't be a dog. Go home to your husband.
He dies at the end of it. Does he, the kid, or is that just in the book? Because I know it's either in the book, or I think it's the book. The kid dies in the end.
Kid dies in the book. They couldn't do it for the. They wanted a nicer ending. The studio wanted a nicer ending. So the kid is looks like he's dying and
cursed, like yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the real movie news I have right now. We have a little bit more at the end. We'll talk about that, Amy, because you want to talk a little bit more about that subject. And keeping it vague, keep them on the hook, Amy, keep them guessing. So we look at one or two really quick true crime stuff that I found interesting this week. I think what we should do here, right, is the classic Stewie Griffin turd sandwich, right? Compliment sandwich, not turd sandwich. Compliment sandwich. You put the turd in the middle. The shit stuff goes in the middle, and then you put a compliment in it. So we were going to tell a funny story, and then the bad story, and then the funny story.
Still sounds like a turd sandwich.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why I call it a turd sandwich. But turd sandwich is a South Park thing. It's a compliment sandwich. You put the shit compliment in the middle, and then the nice on the other side. Okay.
What,
right.
Like, I like your really ugly, nice hair.
Exactly. Okay, cool. What was the one you were going to tell me about?
Oh, the one I was going to tell you about, right, was there was, I'll get it up here now. So basically, there was a guy who is being being charged with attempted aggravated assault when he lunged at a deputy with a weapon made of plastic sporks. So he got loads of plastic sporks and put them together with cable ties. And then he tried to attack the deputy. Now, he escaped with minor injuries, but your man's up on a whole load of charges. Oh, 6 sporks bound together with plastic wrap. Oh, and instant coffee wrapper. Sorry, I missed that part. He was struck in the face, but not severely injured.
But see, if he did that to someone else, that would be a different story. Because he did that to a cop, that's instantly assaulting a police officer.
Oh, attempted first-degree assault, 2 accounts of attempted second-degree assault. But he did actually do the assault, so I don't understand why it's only attempted assault. And attempted assault of a public safety officer.
Because he
drew
attempted to assault him with the weapon, but wasn't able to assault him because his weapon was shit.
Oh, that's true. Probably broke on impact. Like,
kind of like me walking up and hitting you with a pillow and then getting done for assault.
It reminds me of the line from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, where Alan Rickman's getting shitty with somebody. Oh no, he stabbed somebody. He turns around. He was like, "Just be lucky I didn't do it with a spoon," and he walks off.
Why? A spoon wouldn't have fucking penetrated my skin.
No, as in like he was stabbing you one way or another, but if he did it with a spoon because it was so blunt, it would have been horrific. That's what he was getting at, like, but. Yeah, I presume medieval spoons might have been a bit sharper.
More spork-like. That's fucking ridiculous. Well, what made this guy so angry that he decided to try and stab him with a spork? And surely the plastic spork just broke as soon as it hit the guy. Because I remember like using plastic forks before they became illegal and replaced with wood. But you know, like when I was younger, especially as a kid, and we go to a takeaway and I'd be using a plastic fork, I'd break it every fucking time. Well,
I think he might have been a bit pissed off that he was an inmate to begin with.
Oh, he's in jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where else are they going to give him sporks? But, you only have sporks in 2 places: when you're camping or when you're in prison.
But, apparently, he missed his eye and just grazed his cheek.
See, now you're making it so worse again, because if you actually aim for the eye, that's a serious assault. A spork could do damage to your eye.
Just scoop it out, like.
Well, anything could do damage to your eye. I mean, you know, your eye is a very sensitive area.
Yeah, I know.
And again, think of those back again in the before times.
And they can pop out really easy. Ugh.
Remember when you used to break one of those as a kid? And how sharp those fucking things get, like. Yeah. I mean, and once they're smaller and they've been broken once, they become a bit sturdier.
Oh, damn. He had a second one, though. They searched his weapon afterwards, and there was a second one already made.
A couple of sporks stuck up his ass for later.
Who the fuck was letting him take all the sporks back? I thought they'd be watched. You know, like throwing things into the bin.
Well, now they do. They got to check them in and check them out. In heavier news, one of the Slenderman killing girls is getting out of jail.
She is.
No, I think this is actually positive news. I shouldn't call it heavier news. This story is heavier. because, you know,
what happened?
they didn't use the spork. What's the story with the other one? Because Morgan Geyser, what a name, Morgan Geyser, 22, has spent nearly 7 years inside Winnebago. Is that it? Winnebago. Is that how you spell bagel? That's not how you spell bagel. Bay should have a Y sound somewhere in there. That's Winnie, B-A-G-O. Winnebago. Okay. Mental Health Institute, and is now ready to be moved to a group home where her mental health will be continued to be monitored, according to Waukesha. I do know that's right. Waukesha County Circuit Judge Michael Boren.
Winnebago. Got it right.
I always feel really weird about these cases.
What I was reading, I got the feeling that, you know, like, this one getting out is probably, you know, like, I think there might be some degree of rehabilitation.
Whereas one person was the aggressor and the other person was kind of led along by the, like they said the same thing about Columbine, that one of them was kind of leading the other one along, like, you know.
Yeah.
I realised, you know, and I keep realising it is, I'd be a terrible judge because I get too soft on the person that committed the crime because I feel bad for that person having to be punished. You see it me with the kids. Like, I don't like fucking punishing them because it's like, I know that feeling of being punished and it sucks. And I don't want to put them through that. And then I have to remind myself time and time again what these people did to end up in their position.
But you'd probably look over at the family at the same time.
But children make it harder. Yeah. Well, and that's how with adults. I'm like that. Like, I told you that, like, that when I was watching the documentary about Haddon Clark and the cops were fucking messing with him a lot in the interview room, I had to keep reminding myself that Haddon Clark was a child murdering piece of shit.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hear Ed Kemper talk sometimes. After I remember myself, Ed Kemper used to cut women's heads off. Do you know, it's stuff.
Killed his own mother.
That story made it feel like she might have had a little. Well, no one has that coming to them. You know, it's she abused the shit out of him too. Matricide
is still a huge deal, though, psychologically.
But it's so fucking. I start to feel bad for those individuals because they sound so normal. I would be fucked, actually. You shouldn't. If I am ever fucking encountered by an actual serial killer, I'm in real fucking trouble.
Oh, come here, buddy.
Yeah, don't worry about it, kid. That's fine.
You've got a little problem. We can work on it.
What are you doing with that knife? But like, even in this case, you know, it's harder for me with children because I understand that children don't have the mental capacity an adult has. So whereas sometimes with an adult, I'll feel sympathetic for the criminal, because I didn't witness their crime and I'm only hearing about, but I'm witnessing them now, and suddenly they're all feeble and they're all sad and all that. You know, I have to remind myself they're feeble and sad because they got fucking caught. And if they had encountered me somewhere, they'd have had no problem carving me the fuck up.
But so, that's it, like.
And they had done a lot of damage to a lot of fucking people and a lot of people's lives. And when I want to remind myself, I was like, yeah, fuck them. Yeah. And I can get, you know, I'm just sympathetic to you. I'm just overly sympathetic. And then I look at children and it's like, well, fuck. Is it their fault? What's going on in the family? What's going on? How are they being brought up? Do you know?
But they still do need, because it's like the first time your child does something that's bold. If you don't call it on them, like, it's going to keep happening. They still have to be punished. But I do think that a child should always be tried as a child.
Oh, yeah.
I think if that's there, like I said the other day, I mean, like, if a child can be tried for stealing as a child, murder is a more grievous crime, and it's a bigger thing for a child to wrap their head around. So if they can be tried there for stealing, because it's easier to understand, how the fuck are you going to try them for murder in an adult court and expect them to understand what it is like?
But do you know what? My first, literally before you started talking there, I had like this wild fucking instinct, like, just to pour out of me. And this is exactly what I thought was, it should be the parents that are checking. No, listen, hear me out now, because I'm going to jump back on this a little bit. But my first reaction was, it should be the fucking parents. Because a child is not responsible for themselves. You are responsible for that child until they are of a certain age.
That's what's going on with the school shooter at the moment.
Well, they do, yeah. They hold them responsible for that. And I like that. That's what I was going to say. But my first reaction was to go all on in there and be like, fuck it, the parents should be responsible. Because they first of all, you're at home, you should see the warning signs. You should know if there's something with your kid, and you should be, yeah. But then that's where I can see. You just had the same light bulb moment I had, where I thought they should be there.
Services, like.
Yeah, they should be getting them the help, and then you stop and you realize, right, there are some parents who don't give a shit, and there are some parents who are to blame and who are culpable in this because of neglect. But there are some parents who aren't to blame, and it's the government's fault for their neglect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even here in Ireland, like we're seeing that the waiting list for CAMHS, the Children and Adolescent Mental Health Service, there's people crying out for it. The waiting goes in years, so you could be diagnosed with the condition, like, and you're waiting years to get on into this place for help, like.
But see, that's the problem, right? And this is one quality of us that I like. It's the fact that when we do have an instinct kind of knee-jerk reaction to think something, that we have also got the ability to stop, reflect on what we just said, and correct ourselves and say, wait, this isn't, because like other
earlier when you pointed out about like maybe women should be allowed small handguns to like protect themselves, and we were like, oh wait,
men will just
abuse that as well. Like
gangster will be fucking taking their missus' gun, they're fooling them into giving the gun over. Not every woman is intelligent just because they're women. But that's the same. And there's so many people who knee-jerk reaction then would be blame the parents, and it will go hardcore on the parents. Yeah. And it could be a case of, well, maybe they're not getting the support they fucking need either. But there are certainly, I think the parents need to be investigated when a kid does something wrong. And I think that the blame should be then looked at how is the kid being brought up, and how are they being developed, and how are they being helped, and what can we do from. But again, then you need the government to kind of, or to put in the proper measures to help that kid then as well, and not just lock him up and put him away. It should be like, well, what led us here? What would lead a child to think this is okay?
Yeah.
And I mean, fair enough if after fucking 10 years of fucking therapy, good therapy, not just locked up in a fucking home and treated like a prisoner, but like proper fucking work on them. If they're still running around saying, I cannot wait to cut somebody's head off, then maybe we need to look at fucking institutionalizing them for a longer term. But I think you can't look at them at that age and write them off at that age. You have to look at what's going on there, do you know?
Yeah.
And this is horrific. It ended as positively as it could have under the circumstances, because the girl that was stabbed survived. So these two girls take their friend, believe that Slenderman is a real thing, believe he lives in the woods, and believes he has a secret castle in the woods, and that if they bring this girl, their friend, out into the woods and murder her as a sacrifice, he will come and take them away to his slender land and his slender castle. And they then brought this girl out into the woods, stabbed the shit out of her, and Slenderman didn't show up. And then they tried to go on the run. I believe they were caught kind of on the run, where they were like a couple of miles down the road walking.
I think you'd be
because the girl survived. They stabbed the shit out of her. I think it was a lot of stabbing.
Oh, she survived. Okay.
Yeah, that girl was very, very lucky. Let me find out. Hang on. It should be a quick one to find. Just look up Slenderman and it's attached to it. But and again, it does seem like one girl, from what I could tell, had a bad kind of. She was more reserved. She had a lot more rope to hang herself with than the other one did. Do you know? And it was just kind of, she led her along, and I don't know, it's fucking terrible. Again, why are you not watching your kids? After the moral panic. Okay, so here it is. 12-year-old girl stabbed her 19 times. Jesus. And she survived. Fair play to you, for fucking strong girl. Experts testified in court that she also... Okay. Well, this will tell you how batshit crazy one of them was. And it's obviously... Hang on, where are there two names here? Are they allowed to give their names?
Yeah, you just had their names a few minutes ago. You said, oh, that's an unfortunate name.
Well, Geyser, she's out. Geyser. The other one, I am trying to find...
Oh, I don't know. Let me have a look.
But anyway, she believes she also could talk to Lord Voldemort, Jesus Christ, he should not be named, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is badass.
What did the turtles tell her to do?
I don't know. Do you know what this sounds like to me? Do you ever see in the Chappelle show, I think it was the first ever time they had Tyrone, the crack addict, on it, and he was giving a talk to children about the dangers of drugs in school. But then he starts telling them about how much fun it is because you take this drug and you see all your favourite cartoon characters when you're hanging out. It's kind of just taking too much LSD.
Could be.
12 years old. So...
Anissa Weir. That's her name.
Okay. So Geyser, I assume, is going to be on a very similar kind of program to... We were talking on It's Alive Action this week about crimes that got blamed on Chucky in real life. And one of them was the terrible, terrible, terrible story of Jamie Bulger, the little kid that was getting. And that did not end as positively as this did.
No.
And I know this didn't end positively, but you know.
That girl had stab wounds to the heart diaphragm, liver, and stomach, and she fucking survived. Like,
yeah,
that is nearly all the important organs.
I would assume she's going to be on a similar kind of release schedule to the two guys from the James Bulder thing, where she'll be on a life probation.
Yeah, I would think so.
Life license. We're going to be watching you forever. You are never going to be out of our sight, kind of thing. But do they do that in America?
I'm having a look now.
Because how do you do that in a country that big? Do you know?
It's
It's essentially a continent.
I'm having a look. I can't see the terms of her release.
Well, they're only releasing her, I think it's halfway house kind of thing. No, do you know, it's instead of being where she's going to more of minimum security kind of.
Can she go have a job? Like,
I would assume that will be the plan. I would assume it would be to ease her back into society. They don't say shit about the other girl, no?
Then it's so weird. No,
she's just staying inside.
She's just there.
It's an unfortunate haircut in Geyser too. Look, hopefully she is rehabilitated and she can live the rest of her life some bit normal. I assume if you're fully rehabilitated, though, it's going to be very hard to live your life and not feel guilty for what you did.
Geezer was actually charged with higher degree. She was charged with attempted first degree homicide, Class A felony, and Weir was charged with attempted second degree homicide, a Class B felony.
So one of them's getting on better in
rehabilitation.
I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. It'd be interesting.
And there are two as well that were tried as adults. I think it's so fucking wrong.
If we can check next week, Trump will be in charge by next week, Amy. All the media could be restricted. Big Brother could be watching. They're already getting rid of their porno geography over there.
And their TikTok has gone on Monday.
Did you hear one of the politicians?
It's only if you do it on data though, on mobile data, isn't it?
No, from what I believe, from what I heard originally, is it's not like the app will just stop working on Monday morning.
Okay.
It's a case of...
No, I mean the porn.
Oh, what about that? Well, with TikTok, as far as I know, there'll be no more updates. So it'll just eventually stop working in that sense. With the porn, they want to put... No, I agree with what they want to do. Well, they're doing it in England. And I agree with what they're doing in England. I don't know what... Texas obviously
would have to give your details, yeah?
What it'll be like is... From the English one, I believe, which is definitely coming in this summer, is you'll have... What I'm guessing is people are going to have a favorite porno site now.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to put your you're going to have to scan your fucking ID card, and so you'd probably have to make an account for the website, scan your ID card in to prove it's you, and then stay logged in, kind of thing. And I think once you have all that done on your device, I would assume it would just be... That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it, and it's to stop children from access, which is right. I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah.
Do you know that? That's a great idea. Go for it, 100%. I just feel like Texas will take it too far. We'll find out. It's only funny because I don't know their politicians' names to that level. I know some of the bigger politicians.
Yeah.
But one of the older politicians obviously hadn't seen anything like this since the 90s, because he started asking if Pornhub had articles on it like Playboy did.
Oh,
do you know? Well, or was it like, I suppose you wanted to know what kind of level of
stuff were you getting?
Yeah, or was it? And he opened up a whole new world for him that day. He hasn't left his bedroom since. He's going to come out like Quagmire with a huge ass. So I don't know. I don't know what way it's happening in Texas, but that's definitely happening in England. And if you know if it's happening in England, it's going to happen over here.
Oh, definitely.
It should happen. 100%. Go for it.
Yeah.
Because, go for it. But let's leave it at there, right? Because I've always said this: we are going to be the generation that grew up in the wild west of the internet. The time when it was unregulated, the time when you could say and do what you wanted on the internet. By the time we are elderly, Amy, the internet is not going to be what it is today.
Maybe going back down to the pub so you say whatever.
Oh, there'll be a chokehold on the internet. You will have to there will be very, very specific ways of dealing with internet by that. It'll be regulated to shit.
Definitely.
And I think this is the start of it. They're kind of starting to see it happen now. But this isn't a regulation. I think this is a good thing. I just think, and you know what, where it will also actually decrease that industry, porno industry, is there's going to be a lot of people who will not want to put their details into that.
Oh, no.
There is an awful lot of people who will refuse to put details into that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, we were back to more true crime news. Because that's not really true crime. That's just, censorship. Big Brother taking over again. A kayaker who faked his death, fled country, has returned to US and is in custody in Wisconsin. Why does this always seem to happen to people from Wisconsin?
I have no idea.
Is Wisconsin that bad? They're just like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Ryan Brogworth, the husband and father who authorities said faked his own death at a lake and fled the country, has returned to the US willingly and is now in custody in Wisconsin. How big of a fucking crime is this? Obviously,
it's fraud. So it's a big enough crime.
Well, obviously, if he's going for insurance money, it's going to be fraud. But if he's just trying to I just need to get away from my wife and kids. I don't want to be here anymore.
Fraud because you're faking your death. So there's government papers still being drawn up. You still have to have
But is it like you're going to be in jail for a long time kind of thing? Is it like they have to fucking hold him in custody because he's a flight risk, even though he's after willingly coming back?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's see what it says. This is from ABC News in America. Brockworth, who is accused of intentionally misleading authorities to believe he drowned this summer, notified officials that he was returning, and he landed in the US on Tuesday. So he came back fully willingly. Like, he wasn't arrested to come back. He got on a plane and fucking brought himself back. Sheriff Podell said authorities are still putting together where Brockworth was and who he was with since he vanished in August, and said he's cooperated with law enforcement. Brockworth researched other individuals that had successfully disappeared recently, including lake deaths and how deep a body has to be without resurfacing, according to the criminal complaint. Everything hinged on me dying in the lake, Brockworth told authorities, according to the complaint. The whole idea was to sell the death, he claimed. When he was abroad and trying to stay under the radar, Brockworth said he checked the news, but usually avoided clicking on articles. And the criminal complaint mentions Brockworth having been in the country of Georgia. Brockworth said that he did click on a news article. He would use a VPN and sometimes make it look like he was in Russia or somewhere else other than Georgia. Who is this guy that they'd be looking for him to begin with?
No fucking
that
idea.
You'd have to be that fucking under the radar with it. Brockworth did not say, or put it, so it didn't say if he had contacted his wife and kids, so I don't know if they knew he was still alive. Brockworth, who is charged with obstructing an officer, made his first court appearance on Wednesday. He faces up to a $10,000 fine and 9 months in prison. So it's not that bad.
Not huge.
But if you got an angry ass wife waiting for you on the outside, 9 months might not be enough. He got a $500 bond.
That's
because he voluntarily turned himself in.
Okay.
From halfway around the world, so it was like, it's cool. When asked if he could afford any bail, Brockworth replied, "I have $20 in my wallet." So maybe it was, because obviously it's not a fraud thing because he's not getting done for insurance fraud. He just wanted to go missing.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I can see it.
The case began on August 11th when Brockworth texted his wife that he was turning his kayak around on the green shore. Yeah. That's a terrible thing to do to your wife. Do you know? I mean, what's with Americans and not just getting divorces? Is it that expensive?
It must be because
these men usually say we have one or two options here. I pretend I'm dead or I kill you. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know. Well, he's getting 9 months at most. I'd say that sounds like a suspended sentence to me. But
it does seem very lenient though
But he didn't defraud anybody. All he did was fake his own debt and leave. So really, it's not really. He didn't take any money. He didn't rob any money from anybody. It didn't cost anybody. It was just some government documents that went through that shouldn't have went through.
I think if I was his wife, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like,
well, that's a divorce now. It's definitely going to cost him a lot more money than that 10 grand fine. She's divorcing the shit out of him now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But how was it going to cost him more money? He had abandoned that life. She can have the house, she can have the car, she can have the kids. He doesn't want any of it, clearly. That's going to be an easy settlement. Take it all.
Was he ruled dead? Because if he was ruled dead, everything could just be in her fucking name anyway.
But would that not get reversed now because of this? Would that all be null and void?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Maybe this was just a way on saving on lawyer fees. A 10 grand fine is cheaper than paying a lawyer over there to get divorced. She has everything. He doesn't have to worry about it.
That is true.
Yeah.
See?
We got this. What do we have? We're at an hour, man. Should we leave that stuff for next week? What about Dracula? Really, really quickly, because we know Nosferatu is out. I heard it's out digitally on Tuesday.
It is.
It is definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you told me.
I saw an article, so fingers crossed. I do want to watch the
last voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, I want to see that before we watch it. So some article told me it was one to watch before you watch this.
Well, yeah.
So I do want to check that out this weekend. I see you watch an interview with a vampire, the TV series. You're being you're glued into all your vampire stuff again.
I am. Yeah, this is my second time around watching it the last few months.
What were you telling me about? You were telling me something about the second one, or the second Nosferatu. Excuse me. The second make of Nosferatu from the 70s earlier on.
That was it was directed by Werner Herzog. Herzog.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Is that how you pronounce his name? When I saw it printed, I was like, it's never the same guy that's in The Mandalorian.
Scary cam voice man as well.
Yeah,
German,
in Metalocalypse.
His voice is in The Mandalorian. He's been in loads.
Yeah. He's not creepy. His voice is creepy.
Chill way possible.
Like he knows he's creepy.
Put you to sleep, but you're going to have a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, he's epic. Is he still alive? He is.
No, he is. Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
I can't wait to see it.
We get to see his dick.
Yeah, that surprised me. I just saw Nicholas Holt holding the framed penis, and I was like, why does he have a fake penis?
Because it's in the movie, man.
They wouldn't have gotten away with it in the 20s, or maybe they would have because there's no Hays Code.
Yeah, you've seen that one, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Have you seen all of them?
I haven't seen the 1979 one, but I
didn't even know that one existed lately. Because he's called Dracula in that one.
He is called Dracula.
So that would be closer. So is that only Nosferatu in name, or does he have he has the look of Nosferatu?
He has the look of Nosferatu. Well, yeah.
But they stick with the original names from the book.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a cross between. Well, obviously it is. It's all Dracula.
It's all Dracula. I think the one thing that they do change in the 1979 version of it is that when they bring Jonathan Harker over, do you know, to Keanu, basically. So his character in the 1979 Nosferatu. So traditionally, it's Dracula is the stagecoach driver that collects him, do you know, and brings him back to the castle. Okay. But in the 1979 one, he has actually hired a driver, so he doesn't have that initial interaction. No, there is Renfield in it though. Oh,
I always forget that Renfield is his guy.
And actually, fun fact: the guy that plays Dracula in the 1979 Nosferatu actually played Renfield in a German version of Dracula.
Growing up as a kid, because of cartoons, Looney Tunes and stuff, I always thought Igor was just one of these guys who was a catch-all in Universal.
I thought it was Frankenstein.
I thought he was
Dracula,
everybody's butler. I thought he was everybody's little psychic. I thought, like you said,
like Lurch, like smaller
worked for
version
Dracula, worked for Frankenstein. That if you watched the Universal monster movie, this guy was there.
They shared custody.
Yep.
Basically,
he was cross kind of universe guy. But no, Renfield is who I was thinking of with Dracula. Clearly. I love that movie too. That was fun. Renfield was a good movie.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed that. I loved it. So is Dracula Dead and Loving It. Every time you say Renfield, I just see the guy from Ally McBeal.
Yeah, he's perfect for that part.
Perfect for that part.
But I liked Renfield and I liked Abigail. I liked all those little side Dracula things they were doing. And obviously Nicolas Cage is badass.
He was.
But I liked the Dracula. Who played Dracula at the end of Abigail again?
It wasn't. I want to say that it was the guy whose name that I can never remember, who's also in The Mandalorian. Breaking Bad.
Huh? Breaking Bad, Mandalorian. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, the chicken shop guy.
Oh, I can't say his name either.
Esperanza. I can't think of his name.
Never think of his name.
Just tell me. It's just even just make an attempt, and I'll be able to tell you.
No. He was in the movie, but he was. Do you remember he was another vampire as well? He was like he was Dracula's fucking butler guy.
Do you have his name?
Lambert was who he played. He is Giancarlo Esposito. See, I never expect him to be fucking Spanish. Do you know?
No.
I don't know why I have him down as he'll be African American, so he'll have that name. I never put him down as Latin American. And then when I see, and I know his name is that, but it just never sticks to me.
Yeah, I think though that we're just not used to
More
Spanish
often than
names
not.
because Spanish names just fly from me.
But to be honest, because of my Star Wars love, more often than not, once somebody's in Star Wars forever, they're that name. Like, I rarely call Christopher Lee, and I know everyone loves Christopher Lee. It's usually Count Dooku.
Oh.
Darth Tyrannus. Who was he? Oh yeah, Father was played by Matthew Good. Matthew Good. I don't know. He was in Watchmen. Oh yeah, he's Ozymandias in Watchmen. That's who he is.
I've also been watching a lot of, like you said, Interview with the Vampire. But what I was kind of like looking into, I went kind of back as well with like the first vampire, because you're the Queen of the Damned, and you like the Elias part in that, Akasha, she's like the mother of vampires. But you know how it all started?
Yeah.
Because it starts in Egypt. Fucking aliens.
Knew it.
Aliens. Yeah.
Call it. Do you know what's funny, right?
Yeah.
I do avoid vampire movies.
I know you do.
I know, to be fair, I think Dracula got so romanticized. And then when we were in our early 20s,
There was Twilight.
Twilight took a big steaming shit all
Twilight
over.
out there.
Because I loved Buffy as a kid. Loved Buffy the Vampire. And if you ask me now which monster in fucking horror I wanted to be, it would be, and even to this day, it would be like, oh, make me a vampire. That's all.
Yeah,
That's,
definitely. They're all
one.
sexy fuckers.
No, they seem absolutely tortured. But they seem like the best of the bad.
You can be tortured and sexy.
But I don't want to live eternity tortured.
Well, there's that as well.
That's the downside, man. I don't know.
But apparently you can be tortured with your partner, so at least there's someone else to share it with you.
We'll hurt together.
Nice. She was the really shit thing.
Mm.
So like, the way Akasha is like the mother of them all, like basically, but like it nearly happens at one stage. But once head vampire is taken out, all vampires go.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, they did that in What We Do in the Shadows. That was a joke at one point, wasn't it?
It was, but I didn't. I think I just thought it was on a small scale. Like like there's literally the kingpin. You pull that.
Well, what it is, yeah, because it would be a domino effect. Because
Exactly.
if I sired you, then you're going to go because I went. But then the guy you sired is going to go because you go. So if you go right back to the original, once the original goes, then everyone has to go.
Yeah. So they literally keep Akasha on a throne.
Which basically makes you king vampire, like.
Yeah. But she turns to stone because like they're looking after her, like, you know, because they know that she can't die, and you know.
Which is the safest way to have her, I suppose.
Oh, you think that, but then somebody gets pissed off with her and throws her out into the sun.
Are they good movies? They seemed really cheesy when they came out, and I just didn't bother with them.
Queen of the Damned is a really, really good story. Really good story. The movie is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's extremely cheesy. The soundtrack is amazing. It's Marilyn Manson and what's the name for Korn. But I think it was just a product of its time.
Well, yeah, a lot of movies that came out in the early 2000s were riddled with cheap CGI.
That's it. It's not even cheap CGI. It's just
writing. It was like rushed. It was.
I'll put it like this.
Cinema in the early 2000s felt very overproduced. It felt very like a product, consumer driven. Do you know that it was?
There was a certain look that I had to have as well.
Glossy
Even with
kind of look about it.
like Lestat is in Queen of the Damned, and that's Tom Cruise's character, the long hair. When you were asking me about him today, and like he's supposed to be arrogant. Like if you were in a relationship with him, it'd be very tender, but it'd also be very abusive. Like, do you know, that kind of way. It's the best way that I can describe it. And then they cast Stuart. I'm sorry, I know he's an Irishman. We should talk great about. I just think he was bad for the part. They casted Stuart fucking Townsend as Lestat in Queen of the Damned, and I don't think he had the same kind of like charisma or something that Tom Cruise or that I can't think of the actor that plays him now. He didn't have that thing behind him.
See,
and
there,
it just
right there,
fucked it up.
Just highlighted what I would say was a big problem as well back in that era, where you're talking about like why movies seem that cheap, because people used to go on like, oh, sequels are never as good as the original, or sequels never do as good as the original.
You couldn't get the same quality act. Like,
you need the same actors.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The reason sequels are good now and we have franchises now is because when an actor signs on for a movie, they sign on for a fucking shitload of movies, you know, and they go and they have to make those movies, and that way you got some consistency to it.
Well, that was the thing about the Vampire Chronicles, because they got the rights. There was supposed to be 3 movies. They made Interview with the Vampire. They sat in the rights. They were about to run out. They were like, shit. They literally got one rushed out. That was the Queen of the Damned. They didn't even get the 3rd one done. So
you saw the really, 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 really bad Hellraiser they have out there. And that was solely to hold on to rights. That happens all the time. And see, that's another thing I keep saying it about horror movies, where we kind of look at like 80s movies and 90s movies and we think, oh, the continuity and where does this link and there, and that's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to find links and make the story make sense. And the reason we do that, and the reason we're able to do that every week,
you gotta ignore stuff.
Back then, they weren't looking to make continuity, and they weren't thinking. They were thinking, how do we make a really low budget movie and make money doing it? So it was just, what's the formula? And you just threw formula it, and you just changed the story and changed actors, and it didn't make a flying fucking difference. It was just cash code, you know?
Yeah.
How do we cash in on this thing's fame? No, like you were saying, in this sense, it was, shit, we gotta cash in on it now before it goes.
6 months to make this. I know it wasn't that bad, but it feels like they only had 6 months to make it. I mean, like Elia, now I think that was good casting. You know, I don't think she was, parts of her acting was cheesy, but like she was young, she was an actor. She wasn't an actor, she was a singer, she was going through a shit time.
But probably. Again, you look at as time moves in movies, you can see different styles of acting. And what would be considered great acting today would be out of this world acting in the 70s or 80s. You know, like their style of acting, it was like, you see them. It's almost like you can see over the last 150 years the movement, the very, very slow movement of acting going from stage to reality. And we're kind of at that reality point now, but that they had to go through all this different type of stage. Forgetting, it's like they didn't realize still in the 90s and 70s, 80s and 90s that they weren't on stages anymore. They were acting, and they had to be more realistic and like real people. It was still written like it was a play. It was still written like it was an acted piece. Like acting, the way people act in movies is nothing like how people act in reality.
But do you think that's because as time has gone on, emotions and displaying emotions have become more acceptable? So people have been able to watch other people, like, you know, like take even subconsciously, like watch them portraying like these emotions, whereas that back like you know, like even like a few decades ago, be like, right, I'm supposed to be angry, so maybe this is how I do like this kind of anger, like that.
And I think that the landscape has changed in the sense of, even when you look at the 90s, if you were a megastar, you were wanted for every movie, regardless of your ability. Your
Mel
name,
fucking Gibson.
Your name and face was wanted, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you could be a good actor. I mean, Brad Pitt's a good actor, but Brad Pitt was in a lot of movies when there was other actors that could have had those movie roles too, but he got the box office. Whereas I think these days, the acting pool is so thick, and they really, and the focus is on reality so much that the standard has been raised. The bar has been raised. So now, just being good looking ain't gonna fucking get it for you.
No.
You know, just being charming isn't gonna get it for you. You have to fucking be able to put it across on the screen, because, and I think the internet's done that, because back before, we're talking like the megastar era of the 90s and 2000s and beforehand, there wasn't as many people able to scream at you, you're shit. No, your movie goes up, and by the time the first showing is over, there is people online fucking critiquing you. Like every level is getting critiqued. Everything you've done is getting critiqued by people who don't know shit to begin with. Like, you know, to the most part, in the sense of they're not in the profession. You know, but that's it. Like, you know, you have to kind of find. But because of that, the level has to be higher, because you are trying to make it as hard as possible for them to find those flaws.
Exactly.
So you do have movies now that it's not just, you know, the box office star. It's who is the role.
right for a person,
and like you
for
said,
this role.
that's evident again this year in the Oscars when you said about the casting award, casting director award, which makes sense because you have to cast the right person in the right role, and that's more important now than ever.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, even when it comes down to casting family members, it's always like a lot more believable if you can find someone, even if they walk in with red hair and they're supposed to have black hair. But if you can spot that, defining feature in somebody's face, you just need one feature to look like, and then you work on that.
And then it is important because, like I said, that's why sequels and stuff like that didn't work back then. You even look at, like, we'll just say kids movies when we're kids, because it's the only one that pops into my head right now off the top of my head is Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Great movie. Dennis the Menace 2 wasn't the same kid.
No.
Now I understand kids movies, it's hard to do because the fuckers grow up really quick. Home Alone 1, 2, we all loved it. Anyone seen the rest of them? Nope.
I was saying Richie Rich.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, but then the second one wasn't Macaulay Culkin.
But that's what I'm saying. The second ones were never the same. Especially with kids. I understand why it wasn't with kids movies.
Right.
But it was the same issue going forward.
Was Home and Away. Home and Away were awful feckers for this. And I know they're not horror, but I mean, like, they didn't even... person could be 30
they
years
would literally
of age,
bring in a substitute actor.
They wouldn't even kill him off like English soaps or or just have him get it divorced.
Remember the time Alf's wife went missing for like a week and they just threw in another actress? It was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Everybody was confused. And it was
a week later she's back. It's like she was just
Sally's husband changed overnight. Like, he was like, like stereotypical attractive like Australian surfer. And I'm not saying the next guy wasn't
cheap,
attractive.
Shitty soap. So I mean, they get away with it to a degree. What I mean is, it was harder though, like, to take big movies seriously when your big character is changed from movie to movie.
Yes, exactly.
The only one I actually found it easy enough to deal with, it did take me about... No, the character feels completely different, to be honest.
Tom Cruise and the Mummy.
No.
Oh.
Well, I didn't watch that because Tom Cruise in it. But Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal.
Oh, come here to me. No, they're two different kind of performances.
It doesn't feel like they're both the same.
But they're both
character.
perfect for it. That's the thing.
But they don't feel like the same character. I think the Australian girl did a better job in Clarice, the TV show, at playing the Meg.
I thought you were on about the title character. You're talking about Clarice. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who am I thinking? What's her name again? Fucking Jodie Foster. I was going to call Megan fucking something or other.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster. I feel like she did a better job at being an imitation not Meg Foster. Why do I keep going to say Meg Foster? Fuck's sake, Jodie Foster. And that it was too big of a jump. The girl I can't remember her name.
She's from My Girl.
What?
She's a girl in My Girl.
You're thinking of Hannibal, the TV show. I'm talking about the movie.
Oh, I get you now.
The one that was in 30 Rock.
Yeah, sorry, I get
it. But she almost seemed too sturdy, too built to be.
Yeah.
To be Clarice. Clarice almost seems like she's tough mentally, but Clarice seems kind of feeble, kind of like you could blow her over with a gust of wind. Whereas your one seemed more commando, fucking in charge, kind of in control.
Yeah,
but obviously, you know she's not, because she still has this weird relationship with Hannibal.
Weird.
But that was the only one that I was able to watch, and it didn't bother me that they changed characters.
Yeah.
I found it weirder that she wasn't in Red Dragon. And that I was dealing with Ed Norton, dealing with Hannibal. That was a bit of a strange twist for me. But at that point, I didn't realize that there had been another...
I loved Red Dragon.
Another movie beforehand, like, that Manhunter had been made, and that was actually the original Hannibal movie. And then Silence of the Lambs was the second one.
I think, what is your favorite? Which one is your favorite?
That's a good question. That's a really good fucking question. The three of them are really good. The fourth one isn't great. Fourth one is Hannibal Rising.
Mm-hmm.
See, and the TV show was fucking great.
Oh shit! Now they bring the TV show into the mix. It's like, now I've got to pick my favorite episode. I think the first episode blew me away, where they go on to the mushroom farm. Is like literally mushrooms growing out of bodies. It's kind of set the tone for the whole the whole series, isn't that?
Yeah, I liked. I really enjoyed it.
Loved it.
And even the way it ended, I know they want to bring it back, but I'm happy with the ending. I thought it was a nice ending.
That's the kind of relationship I was trying to describe to you today. The ending of that TV show and their relationship is exactly the kind of relationship I was trying to describe to you today between Lestat and Louis.
Abusive codependency. Kind of.
Yeah, but there's something actually really fucking romantic about it at the same time. Like, it's so
it was a really nice
up.
ending. For a really bad, for a gory, terrible ending, it was a nice ending. And I even looked at you afterwards. I was like, I love this show. I don't want it to be over, but
if you're going to end
that's
it,
the end. That's a really nice ending. I think just leave it there. I would love to see Silence of the Lambs with Mads Mikkelsen. That would be fucking great. But they don't have the rights to that, so it's not going to happen.
I just love Mads Mikkelsen.
So I don't know. But my favourite was for a long time was definitely Red Dragon.
That's my favourite.
Because I think because of when it came out and my age, that would have been the one that I saw first properly.
See, I really like Ralph Fiennes as well.
Yeah, but it would have been the one I saw properly for the first time.
Yeah,
and then afterwards, I think I would have seen Silence of the Lambs, and I think Hannibal I saw then as well. I liked Hannibal, but Hannibal was probably my least favorite of the three at the time. But I loved them all.
Yeah,
it wasn't least favorite in the sense of I disliked it. It was just like if I got to pick between the three, I probably would have went in order, chronological order, not release order. I probably would have went Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal.
Well, Red Dragon was the only one that I was allowed to watch for a while.
Yeah. Really? I would say Silence of the Lambs is less sexual than Red Dragon.
I think it might have been the...
Really?
Yeah.
My parents would have thought nothing of that because no one would have actually specified what it was. My mom would have just said he spat in her or it was pee or something or from the toilet or something. There would have been no mention of it.
And then I think with the other one, it would have been Ray Liotta would have been too much for I mean, now you're on about the girl that was stopped from watching Gone with the Wind.
I do remember actually. Do you say this now? I do remember my parents rented Hannibal and I was like, what's that? And they're like, you can't watch that. And then they went out of the house and I clicked on and fast forward in. That was the one scene I saw was really already down. Like,
you're like, maybe they're right.
But yeah. I remember them renting that house. They did. I remember watching Silence of the Lambs as well and stuff and kind of peeking my head in to see little bits and me told to feck off. But I was old enough for Red Dragon, so I know I've read all the books, so I know it all. But yeah, I love it. I'm sure we'll get more Hannibal stuff in the future at some fucking stage, but at the moment it's all kind of in limbo. No Clarice, no Hannibal.
Anthony Hopkins should give us one, just one more.
Could be a tight one. How much time does Anthony have left?
He's looking well for his age.
What age is he?
Poor Anthony, leave him alone. I would say late 60s, early 80s. No, late 70s.
Late 60s. Jesus Christ.
That technically is true, betcha. Late 70s, early 80s.
He is 87.
Oh.
Just turned 87. Fresh 87. He's New Year's Eve is his birthday.
So I wasn't too far off.
He's Welsh.
Yeah.
God damn.
I didn't know that.
No, I did not know that he was Welsh.
He is Welsh.
I want to like him so bad, but his personal life, he just does. I don't know. His family life seemed weird. I don't know.
Two sides, Josh.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know what's going on.
Just seemed. I couldn't be that cold towards my own child.
But it mightn't have been his choice if you look at it like that. I mean, maybe it's a thing of like it wasn't his choice, but this is what he's got to do to deal with it because it's got to be.
And he has such potential because he was such a good dad to Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, he's gone now. He can't go back into Avengers, can he?
Come on.
He's dead.
Yeah. So was fucking Robert Downey Jr. So is Chris Evans, who they're rumored to be coming back again.
Why?
Because there is another version of Captain America. Not another version of Captain America. If they're going into multiverse things,
I'd rather see zombie Captain America.
It's not. It's Hydra Captain America. It's like Nazi Captain America.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was like Aquaman.
No. Hydra would be like the Nazis of the Red Skull guy. Do you know, they were the Nazis, Hydra. So it was their version. I think in an alternate, there's comics in an alternate reality universe that the super soldier ends up with the Nazis, not the Allies. Okay. Meaning he, gets brought up through that.
Yeah.
And he is all Hail Hydra and all this kind of shit. So I think I only saw a little bit of that again. I don't read these articles. A lot of time I'm like, I don't have time to be clicking into all this shit. And I just swipe past and I see these little bits of information and I decide I'm going to share them with the world and I realize I don't know much about it. It's okay. Robert Downey Jr. is definitely back though. All right, fuck it. We went well over what we were planning to do. We're an hour and a half in. Let's split. See you next week. Oh, before we go.
Okay.
If you're listening to this free on our Spotify, you can also listen to this free on our Patreon, where you will find classic episodes of Mini Monsters for free. You will find Wrestling with My Missus exclusively there for free every week, every Monday. Now that's free without a subscription. You don't need to do shit. You just need to go to patreon.com/Horrorverse Network.
Is it every Monday? It is definitely.
Tuesday. Every Monday. We'll get to that in a minute though. So you got to work them up slow by slow. Bring them through the tiers. So that's free. You don't need a subscription. You don't need an account. You can just go straight on. If you're listening to this on Spotify right now, you can go right up to the link on the top of our page and click on that. It'll bring you right over to our Patreon feed on Spotify, and you will see all the free shit that's there because everything else will have a lock on it. We also have Real Monsters, classic episodes of Real Monsters up there that are available for free, and they are all linked to the Mini Monster episodes that are there for free, but you do need an account for that. Not a subscription. You don't got to pay a shit. It's still free. You just need to sign up and sign up to us. Then, if you do want to spend $5, if you're hanging about and you want to see what else we got on offer, you can get a 7-day free trial and check out Playing with Bones. And soon, very soon, 2 weeks' time, we'll have the first episode of Wrestling with Time going up there. And they go up there every Monday. Playing with Bones, we are now halfway through season 1. And we have been covering the Bourbon Dynasty in France. And it has been fun. If you like Game of Thrones, if you like Vikings, if you like all those old school, medieval, crazy ass Kings and Queens TV shows, this is for you, because I'm telling you, they got all their influence from these crazy stories of the French and the English and all these mental people who just were bored and had no TV and no podcasts to listen to, so they'd like to spread rumors and kill each other and poison each other and go to war, and it makes for good soap opera.
Amazing soap opera material. Serious.
So check that out on Monday, and you can check out our first episode in the Charles E. Ray series, which I'm almost certain is up by tomorrow. All right, see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Later.